Hey, welcome to another episode of Your Faith and Health Community. I'm your host, Pastor Jackie Jackson. And as always, on behalf of myself and our producer, Anita Alexander, we want to thank you for taking out time from your busy day to spend with us. And prayerfully, we'll share some information with you that will improve your quality of life. But before we jump to our awesome guest, Mr. Monty Burnett, got to ask the question, have you enrolled in health care, in health insurance? Have you enrolled in the marketplace or in Medicaid? If you are single, making $16,223 a year or less, that makes you eligible for Medicaid. If you're a family of four with a combined income of $44,500 a year or less, that makes your entire family eligible for Medicaid. Medicaid will cover your medical, dental, vision, prescriptions, hospital visits, emergency room visits, even an ambulance ride should you need that. Or if you need to, if your income is higher than those two examples I gave you, then you would go to the marketplace. And there you would go, and it's basically shopping. You go in, you look, you see which plan fits your income best. You want to make sure that you think about what doctors you see, what medications, and actually what medications are important because certain insurances don't always cover what you want to take, even down to what hospitals that you like to visit. So I'm going to cut it there. Just get insured. Look, you want me to stop talking about it? Just get insured, okay? And then I'll stop. Probably not this week. Well, definitely not this week. Probably not the next year, but sooner or later we'll have everybody insured, and then I'll have to come up with something else. So let's jump into this right now. Get insured. Listen, I want to welcome our guest, Mr. Monty Burnett. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Thank you.
Did I say your name right?
You said it right. Yes, you did.
Man, there we go.
Yeah.
And welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's definitely our pleasure. I understand that you have a very interesting, it's a show, it's like a program, it like inspires self-help. It's a motivational speech. It's an inspirational situation, and it's called. I'm gonna look at it so I get it right. The Monty B Abnormal Remodeling Show, which can be seen on Facebook, yes, YouTube, as well as Instagram. So, the Monty B Abnormal Remodeling Show. I gotta ask before we jump into anything. Abnormal. Why is it? What makes it abnormal?
What makes my show abnormal? Well, first, here's how I say it when I come on. So, welcome to Monty B's Abnormal Remodeling Show. I'm your host, Monty B. And remember, we don't remodel homes, we remodel lives. That's how I say it. And why is it abnormal? It's abnormal because, first of all, I am open about my recovery. I'm not in the dark with my recovery. It's abnormal to see a big black dude on Facebook talking about he used to be a dope fiend and trying to inspire millions of people around the world. And the reason why I got the name, how I got the name Abnormal, was because I struggled with staying clean. I am I am a recovering drug addict.
And that's what, 2 years? What was that, 2 years?
I got 2 years and 8 months in a few days. I struggled with getting clean. I've been trying to get clean for the past 25 years. And 2 years and 8 months is the most time I've ever had. And so going back to how I got the name Abnormal is because I came to a meeting. I belong to a 12-step fellowship, and I fell off. Relapse. So I walk in the meeting because I didn't have nowhere else to go. In the meetings, I know that I was going to be safe. I know that if I just get clean, maybe, just maybe, my dream of doing this right here would come true. So I go to the meeting, head down, full of self-pity and guilt and remorse. And I had my head down. That's how people do when they just defeated. And I looked at this one gentleman next to me. He had a bag, and on the bag it had the word abnormal. I've always saw this bag, but for whatever reason, that word got my attention this time, and I read the definition. And it had a few words on it, but that which really caught my attention, which was so simple for me, was not normal. I'm like, hey, that's me. I'm not normal. Because I've always wanted to be normal, wanting to be able to drink one beer, wanting to be able to just smoke one joint with the fellas, wanting to just to take one pill and be okay, recreational. But it's never recreational for me. It's always the bitter ends for me. So that's how I got the name Abnormal, because I need to know that I am not normal and I can't do what normal people do, go to the bar, go home, and go to work the next day. That's not my story. Every time I drink a beer, I end up in a penitentiary or in some type of institution.
So, ergo, the Monty B,
Yes.
Abnormal remodeling.
Sure.
So you're remodeling what is abnormal and helping to model it or remodel it into normal.
I would never be normal. I would never be normal. I will always be.
Isn't normal kind of relative though? I mean, except unless you're going to the extreme, isn't normal? Because for some people, normal wouldn't be having one beer, going to the club and having one beer. They may think that that's kind of out of what the spectrum for their idea would be normal. Normal would be bypassing the beer and bypassing the club and just going home or going to church or going to be with the kids. So that's why I'm just asking. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate, right?
Yeah.
Because I like that you're saying it's the abnormal, the abnormal routine or things that we get into that takes us off the path, right?
Yes.
But isn't a dream to one day or an aspiration? If abnormal is addiction or any of these particular things, then wouldn't the aspiration to be to get as close to normal as possible, which would move you away from that negative?
The way that we put it, when I say we, talking about the fellowship I'm in, is that to become a productive member of society. Okay, but now as I become a productive member of society, I got to know that deep down within me, that there's something inside me that screams out for failure. Okay, there's something, especially those of us who deal with addiction. All right, now like I said, I've been dealing with this, trying to get clean for a number of years, 25 to 30 years, and so going back to your question, yes, of course I want to be. I know I would never be normal, so I already got that locked and loaded. That's my belief. But to become a productive member of society, that's my aim.
Okay, good enough. I was just curious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm full of questions.
Okay, come on with them.
Let's see. Okay, let's talk about this because you're saying about clean and talking about getting clean, and that would be the aspiration of anyone who is caught up in addiction. And addiction, we have a tendency to put not blinders, but put addiction in a box, right?
Yes.
So we usually think it's drug or alcohol.
Right.
But there's food addiction. There are people who are addicted to being late. You're right? There are people who are addicted to lying. I know a few of them that are really addictive to lying. So we put addiction in a box and we only make it about certain things.
Right.
And maybe that's sometimes for us as people, it's easier to box out something and say, that's bad. I don't want to, because I don't want to look at, I may not do drugs, I may not have an alcohol addiction, but I'm eating like eating is going out of style and it's unhealthy for me and it's causing me all other problems.
Right.
So getting past an addiction, whatever that addiction is, but mainly talking about the drug and alcohol, there are people who say, I can do this and I don't need any help, I don't need programs, I don't need sponsors. So it's I can get clean because all I gotta do is decide it.
Yeah.
I can quit this anytime I want to. So what is your opinion, your personal opinion, on someone feeling, hey, I can get clean without any help. I don't need any assistance. All I have to do is stop.
I've never had any success with that. I've always said to myself, I don't need those meetings. I don't need no sponsor. I don't need anything that them people are telling me to do. and I can do this alone. And I've tried that way. I've tried that way for a number of years. I mean, for many moons, I tried that way, and like I said, I always ended up, I've been to prison 4 times due to my drug addiction, trying to do this by myself. I end up homeless all the time, trying to do this by myself. I end up jobless, homeless, and penniless every single time trying to do this by myself. And if you're watching this show, and if you have a drug addiction, stop trying to do it by yourself. Maybe that's why you're not having no type of success. For me, I had to get in a 12-step fellowship, wherever it may be. You got to get around like-minded people, people who have faced your dilemma and found the way out. So if you are that person watching this, please, please stop trying to do this alone.
Okay, so you definitely suggest and support getting help. You said a 12-step fellowship program that becomes someone, you know, I think with anything, when you're around people who can who can share a success story on something you're walking through now, you know, it's easier, or I think it's better when somebody up ahead can come back and go, listen, I've been up there and it's a whole lot better than this.
Right.
And I know because I'm there. I'm the Harriet Tubman of addiction. I'm just coming back to get you and say, come on, we're going to fight our way through it.
Right.
So I like
But
that
I also
part.
would like to say that now a 12-step fellowship isn't the only way to get clean. Some people have gotten clean through church. Some people have just stopped. But that's not my story. I've tried to do it the way other people have done it when, like I said, that wasn't the path that God chose me to take.
Okay, and so you earlier on, before we started shooting, you showed me some videos, and one was from somebody in Africa. So I know that people respond to your show from around the world, and you're getting people just reaching out to you, letting you know, hey, that I'm clean, or I've been clean for this time. I think one you showed me, and the young man had been clean, he said, for 6 years. But then it was a young lady in Africa, was it 8 months or a year and 8 months? And it looked like she had a brother and family just kind of around her and giving her that support. What inspired you to, besides your addiction, what inspired you to say, I'm going to take my addiction, I'm going to take my situation, and I'm going to use it to motivate and to inspire people? What clicked in you that said, wait a minute, let's put this on YouTube. Let's get people looking at this.
What inspired me to do it was, I got to give all praise to God. I got to, because a cool guy like me, you know, so cool, and there's no way I'm going to tell anybody that I am a dope fiend. There's no way I'm going to tell anybody that I used to smoke crack. There's no way I'm going to put my personal business out there amongst the world. But God said, yes, you are. Yes, you are, because people need to hear this. People need to see that there is hope when you put down the dope. People need to see that that you can do things that you never imagined once you put down the dope. Me doing this, me being here with you, Mr. Jackie, is a blessing, because I visualize myself sitting, you are my stepping stone to meet Ellen. That's why I want to meet Ellen.
But you got a long bridge. That's going to be a big, long stone, Doc.
But just to be right here with you doing this is I put down the dope, and I sit here amongst you. And I want to say, I watched your videos prior to coming here, and I really, really admire how you do it. I studied you, put it that way.
To God be the glory.
and this right here is what happens when you put down the dope, when you make up in your mind that, hey, once I put down the dope, I'm going to chase my dream. And there's people who follow me, because I'm going to put this on my page, and just to show them, hey, this is what life can be about for those of you. Your vision may not be to be a motivational speaker, to have your own show. Your vision may be to go back to school. Your vision may be to get your degree in whatever, finish up something that you have started, to get your kids back. And the reason why I do these videos and to do what I do is to let people know that there is hope. Look at me. I was the addict who couldn't stay clean. Couldn't stay clean. I tried and I tried to get clean. Then one day I said, God, you give me another shot and I'm going to do what them people tell me to do, and I'm not going to look back. So, and I'm going to inspire others, one person at a time.
All right. So in the videos, I heard people saying, what was it? Clean time. So what is clean time? Sounds like when you're a kid, your mom says it's clean time, get your butt in the tub.
It's funny. Okay, I'm glad you said that. Well, there was a young lady when I go to the meetings. This young lady they'll say we celebrate clean time, and that's increments of 30 days clean, 60 days clean, 90 days clean, and on up. And when they say clean time, people will raise their hand and say, hey, my name is such and such, and today I'm celebrating 30 days clean. Then they give them a clean key tag or whatever, because, hey, 30 days is a long time for people who's been on dope. And so this young lady we used to always, her name is Leslie. Hey, Leslie, I hope you're watching the show. I love you. Leslie would say, she would stand up and say, clean. Now, they'll say clean time. And she'd say, stand up and say, get you some. And she would say this all the time. Then I heard other people saying it. And then one day I went to Leslie. I said, Leslie, can I use that? She said, yeah, man, you can use that. I don't care. And when she gave me the permission to use get you some, I took it and I said, I'm going to put that on my show. And now we got T-shirts. I meant to bring a T-shirt just to show people how my vision is coming into fruition, okay? I got T-shirts, clean time, get you some. And it's just a saying that we say in the rooms that we're just bringing it out and celebrating our recovery.
Okay, so clean time.
Clean time.
Got to add the get you some.
Get you some. You got to point and say, get you some. Yeah. Yes.
All right. So in your bio, I guess you have here where you say your mission is to inspire, uplift, and motivate people in the recovery community, as well as people who are incarcerated. And you've mentioned that you've been incarcerated a few times. So in that motivation of people incarcerated, what do you, I mean, I know you're motivating to say, or you're trying to inspire when you get out, and stay away, but you also mentioned that you want to be, and I found this really interesting, and I asked you about it, and I just can't see where it disappeared to, that you wanted to be a motivational speaker for low income.
Yes, low income.
So what does that mean?
It's for low income. All right. On YouTube, I follow motivational speakers like Les Brown. I follow E.T., the hip hop preacher. And I know that maybe 2 months ago, E.T., he was in Chicago and he was doing a seminar. He was telling people, come on, y'all come to Chicago. I'm gonna be here. It's a 3-day weekend. For 3 days, I'm doing this seminar. And I'm like, oh, wow. Maybe I get to meet E.T. I've been following him, I get to see him. And so I went to go see how much it cost. And it was $1,500 to $2,500.
So is that like covering, because you said it's a 3-day seminar.
It was covering hotel,
food, and all that stuff?
But still, yeah, $1,500 for me.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And for someone of low income who may be following these people, they be like, I'll never be able to see him. And my vision is to blow up, not so much financially, but my vision is to travel the world. I want to travel the world. I can't do that off the job I'm doing now, but I want to travel the world and go in places inside of Boys and Girls Clubs, inside of recreational centers, and speak to these men and women, boys and girls, and I want them to know who I am and be able to come and enjoy themselves and be inspired for free.
Oh, so you're not even looking at a cost,
I'm like,
or put it this way, not a cost that's going to cause someone a hardship or have to
Right.
miss out on some information
Yes.
that could be life changing.
right, exactly.
Which is good, you know. And when you look at certain things, sometimes as people expand and grow, their companies or organizations, sometimes it does get more expensive.
Right, I
And, you know,
understand that.
And sometimes people are looking at it like they're doing it 3 days, and you got to do hotel, and you got to cover all this. And of course, within all of that fee, they're also saying this is what we're charging for the price of the 3-day seminar. But you want to be able to make sure. So your goal really is to make sure that every one of God's children that want it
Yeah,
can get this help, can get the motivation to come in and be around some individuals who are on the same struggle.
Yeah.
You know, a football team works because defense or offense is all going the same way. Right?
Okay.
So, you know, if the
Okay.
quarterback's facing upfield and everybody's running downfield, and he throw the ball upfield, there's nothing good that's going to come out of it. So I like that part that you're doing. There was something else I remember in the bio that talked about, and I was trying to find it, foster care, because I want to touch on that real soon. What is it that you're doing, or what does your program, how does that deal with foster care?
Well, I just tell people in some of my videos, when I first started doing my videos, I wanted to be vulnerable with people. I wanted them to know that, I wanted them to know who I was. I wanted them to know where I came from, and to let people know I wasn't ashamed about nothing I've been through. I wasn't ashamed of who I was, where I've been at, and by telling people I was in foster care, there's a lot of people in foster care who you wouldn't never knew that was in foster care.
I was in foster care for a while.
Okay, and by not, I would have never known that, and others who are in foster care, a lot of that has, for me, they say that addiction started long way before we picked up, okay, long before my first drug, and they tell us to go back and see some areas in our lives to where the unmanageability came at. And I could see when I became a foster kid, prior to becoming a foster kid, I couldn't see why. I can see why I became a foster kid, okay? I mean, just for real. And, but then as I got in the foster program, that's where I just, took off. As far as when I say leaned on my own understanding at an early age, knowing that I didn't have no guidance, no real authority figures. I could do what I wanted to do, and only reprimand I would give was maybe a social worker who would come by and just say, "Don't do it no more." And by me being in foster care, that led up to a lot of the stuff to where I'm at today, basically, in a sense. Because I'm learning right now at the age of almost 50, foster care to prison, to being on drugs, to transitional living, to rehabs. I'm just now learning how to live, seriously. And it's okay for me to say, I don't mind saying that, because there's a lot of people out there who's been through foster care, and then from foster care, my brothers and sisters who've been incarcerated from there. Then they're in incarceration. Then when they come out, a lot of them don't know what to do. And a lot of them who are incarcerated, they was 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna say 9 times, it was due to drug-related, it was drug-related. And then when you come out not doing nothing for your drug addiction, you may have not used while you was in, but as soon as you get down and touch down, then what? And that's always been that was my pattern. Get out, then what? I wouldn't touch a drug while I was incarcerated, because I wanted to get out. I was a model prisoner. But as soon as I get out, 6 months later, I'm back in.
Well, for 2 years and 8 months, 4 months short of being 3 years, you haven't had the revolving door.
Right.
And we give God glory for that. And apparently, I believe that all the steps that you said what led up to, even before you touched the drugs, so going back to you were younger, that led up to the addiction and your battle through the addiction or the incarceration, that through all of that and you staying part of course, I believe that God has said, I'm going to reward you and I'm going to give you the opportunity by me to speak through you, to speak life into individuals. And it sounds like what you're doing is speaking life to people. And that's a blessing when God decides that I'm going to use you. And he said, Monty, I'm going to use you because people are not going to believe, some are not going to believe that you were able to overcome all the things you've been through. And they need to see someone who overcame some great obstacles so that they can feel inspired to do it. So I give God glory. And I give him honor and thanks for him choosing to use you to do the work that you do. I thank you again for coming on, and definitely we got to get you back because we didn't even touch the beginning. We barely scraped the subject, the surface of things that I want to say, but we'll definitely get you back.
Amen.
Listen, everybody, I hope that you got some good information. Like he said, clean time.
Get you some.
All right, listen, I'm your host, Pastor Jackie Jackson, and we want to thank you for tuning in to your faith and health community. We'll see you next week. So until then, stay faithful, get healthy.